making this broadcast. This is just based on my experiences online. Keep in mind, I was in the TI gang stalking community for over 2.5 years. So I'm going to go over the different types of perps that you will meet online. That, yes, there are perps. I'm not talking about people I may have confused or had a feud with, but we'll go over this. We'll get right into it, right? So the first type of perp you're going to encounter, well, it's not the very first type, but one of the first types I'm going to discuss is the hacker. Okay. This person will either come to your channel, most likely come to your channel, or find you from you commenting on their channel. And their job is to portray a targeted individual. So they might not have the best testimony, the best evidence, but they will be like a little bit convincing. And their whole job is to get you to click a link so they can hack you. This has been going on for a long time. I've heard many complaints about it. Now, me personally, I haven't been through this because I heard people going through this, but never even risked it. So what they're going to do is they're going to befriend you over a certain amount of period of time. I would say about a couple weeks of I like to call the perp grooming, where this is what they're going to do. They're either going to love bomb you by agreeing with everything you say. So they're going to be over excited and over agreeable with you. The next thing you're going to do is try to get your contact information as soon as possible. So email, phone. If you give your phone number to them, they're going to have a way to hack your phone. Now, these people themselves aren't hacking you. They're not smart enough. They're not capable enough. Now, I find myself, I'm not that tech savvy, but I used to be. Generally, like a little bit above average intelligence. I'm not a genius, but the level of hacking these people are capable, like it's way above their pay grade. Okay, these people are way too fucking dumb. Most of the time, these people are that's just really much to it. They're pretty easy to spot out. They're pretty easy to know that they're hacking you, right? The next perp is the friendly perp. The friendly perp is, again, just like the first kind. They have the same motive, but they're going to always exude positivity. These people, the difference between this person and the first group is that they're casting a larger net. The first group, the hacker perp, I mean, whatever comes his way, he's like a scavenger. He's like a vulture. I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm assuming they get paid per, like, every time they get someone hacked, they get like maybe a little lump sum of money to buy some crack cocaine. Now, the friendly perp is going to have a larger following. They're going to be, they're going to be a YouTuber with like maybe 1,000, 2,000 subscribers. Everyone agrees with them. And they portray the targeted individual that's struggling. Like, they're going to put on a better act than the first person. So they're going to have like psyops and like they came and broke this. They just look what the perps did. Knowing damn well they most likely did it themselves. Like, they'll break something and then start filming it. So these people are better actors. I call them the friendly perp. So they never will say, and this is how you catch them. They will never exude any type of negativity. Now, these people are most likely working with law enforcement undercover at that type of capacity. They're here for long-term psyops, agendas. I'm not going to act like I know everything about the perps. I'm just going over the different types of perps. The next level perp is the spirituality or the alien perp, okay? And this isn't a subliminal shot at Immaterial Man because I'm not talking about him. But they have to revert everything back to spirituality. Like, you may come with some convincing story, some convincing evidence that proves people are behind it, and they have to say it's demons or spirituality. They talk a lot about the 144,000 chosen, and they do a lot of stuff with like tarot cards. They're into the occult. So that's that group, right? And I'm not going into names or any specific order, and I'm not sneak dissing or anything. I'm just talking about my experience, the different level of perps. Like, most of the people that I'm calling out for their actions, like for being perps, is like people I didn't even deal with. So the spirituality perp, they always talk about basically spirituality. They'll bring in a lot of gang stalking where it's like they convince you that your friends and family are more involved in that. Okay, they'll convince you their friends and family. Oh, like yeah, like that thing that happened at work. Oh yeah, that was gang stalking. They'll convince you every like as a victim of this. Like I'll be honest with you, like you are like fucked with. You're put in a bubble. But to say like every little instance that's bad that happens to you is gang stalking, like you have to look at the bigger picture. Like why would they do that? Did they use subliminal a message or something? Like they're gonna anchor you with something when they do something to you. They're not like a bad thing's gonna happen to you like regardless. You're human, right? But if it is the program, they're gonna anchor you. They want you to know this is a mind control MK Ultra experimental program, in my opinion. This goes higher than, I believe the police, the military, and everyone like at some capacities involved, but they don't know anything. Like let's say like a EMT person, like I'll give you an example. I was in Wawa. This is before my targeting. Before I was targeted, but it took me like a year and a half to realize. I was at Wawa ordering food, and an ambulance worker. And again, I'm not accusing ambulance workers. I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of them that didn't bother me. This guy was smiling, videotaping me on his phone, smiling, laughing, and like live streaming me to someone else. Like I don't know what he was doing on his phone, but he was videotaping and laughing. I don't know if he was live streaming, but this was like in 2018. So, but he was literally to my right side, a foot and a half away from me, on purpose doing that shit. So that's gang stalking. Like there's no accidental, there's no he was like texting someone. He wanted me to know like he was doing that shit. And I was purposely not looking at him, using my peripheral vision to like because he was recording me. I was like fucking frozen like a deer. So that's just an example. Now the next perp we're gonna discuss is let's see here. Went over the spirituality one, chosen 144, the friendly perp, and the hacker. The next perp is just a straight up abrasive villain perp. This is like a nerve gorilla. Okay, like the reason why they do stuff like this is just like they're just a perp and they're just perping you and like they're not even fucking hiding it. Like they want to flaunt that they're part of your harassment online. We're talking about online perps, not like in-person perps in this one. So that's like a nerve gorilla. Okay, like he doesn't do it to everybody, but the people he really doesn't like, he gang stalks. Like he overall attacks all TIs, but if he really doesn't like you and like you can tell he's a gang stalker because there's certain people he just fucking doesn't like and he'll use any excuse to harass them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what a gang stalker would do. Other people like me, like he'll joke around with me, he might make fun of me and things like that, and other people he's like he doesn't have a hatred. Like he wants an excuse to harass someone. He's fishing for an excuse to fuck with people. So the abrasive perp, that's like a nerve gorilla, right? The next perp, and I will name a name on this one, is the psyop perp. Okay, this person will be on YouTube for multiple years. Now I can get confused for this. If you're not a critical thinker, if you just want to blame everyone as a perp, you can call me a psyop perp or think I'm one, right? Because I talk about crazy topics. That's why I'm literally bringing it up. Like I just made a video how to disable the police and shit like that. You might think, oh, well, he's running a psyop. Like he's trying to convince me to, like, that's what I'm talking about. I talk about a various array of topics on here. So just excuse me for that. I'm not running a psyop. There's no agenda. The agendas I promote are stuff I believe in. Like, fucking our country sucks. Like, I believe in that, There's agendas that I do promote that I believe in the agenda, and that's why I promote it, because I'm a contrarian to fucking assholes, basically, that run systems into the ground. So I'll yeah, like you can claim I am. Like, I mean, I haven't contacted anyone. I'm not really doing anything that hurts anyone else besides myself. But PSYOP perps, I'm gonna give you an example of what they do. They're on here for years and years and years. They're portraying the targeted individual experience, the gang stalking experience. They usually don't talk about anything else unless they can tie it into gang stalking. Like everything has to be gang stalking. These people are usually high intelligence. Okay, like you would think by looking at him, like, yeah, this guy's doing way too good to be a targeted individual. Like he's got a house, he's got a car, you know, he's intelligent, you know. That's what a psyop perp is. So their agendas vary. Their agenda could be to make all targeted individuals look crazy over time, to look really credible, to look like a straight edge credible person, but really make the whole community look crazy because he's the normal one, right? But he's crazy. He's on medication or he's in therapy or something, right? So these people, like, you can just watch their channels and you know they're operating off of a script, and they're doing like freestyle though. Like they're doing improv off of a script. Like their agenda is make all TIs look fucking crazy. And then they'll like do all this shit. Oh, I just lost my job and oh, this is happening and my brother, blah, blah, blah. And it's all part of a psyop. So another thing with the psyop perp that will disqualify, you know, I'm defining my own stuff here, but like this is what I think what a psyop perp is. These people have long-winded storylines that has to do with their target. Like my targeting it's severe when you compare it to a normal person that has rights like civil rights, First Amendment, Second Amendment, like people are allowed to break in my house. But like overall, as a first person testimony, it's not that incredible. Like the reason why I kind of made a big deal about my shit is because I didn't know this was real. Like I didn't know people were just allowed to break into people's houses and like the police will basically do everything but investigate it. Not saying the police are involved, but I didn't know this stuff was even possible. Like this is the stuff that happens to whistleblowers. Like the Boeing whistleblower probably had people hired to break into his house and things like that. I'm not comparing myself to that level of gravitas, right? But this is what I'm trying to tell you. These people have storylines. I don't have a storyline. You know? Like I'm not like I just fucking left the hotel. Like I was renting a car, paying for a hotel in massive amounts of debt. Like, dude, like I'm in more debt working 7 days a week now because of that stupid car than I was when I first started a year ago. What's good, immaterial man? So like that would be a storyline that I could be like, oh, the gang stalkers. Like I could make an incredible imaginary universe. Now that's not all because of gang stalking. You know, that's just a bad circumstance that I'm paying $900, $800 a week just for a car and a roof over my head. But the psyop perp would be like, the gang stalkers set up this whole thing. They knew they're draining my money. They're doing this, they're doing that. Now, in my testimony, yeah, they fucked me up 2 years ago financially when they fucked up all my cars in that first apartment. Like, yeah, that had an effect that lasted to now. But, you know, if I was lucky enough, I could have got out that situation. Like, there were parts of times and periods where I should have got 3 jobs and just worked my ass off, but I was on YouTube making fucking content all day. I was literally doing like 3-4 live streams a day. That's my fault, you know? So that's what the fuck is going on there, right? Psyop perps, like they'll turn that my situation, they would have like a million different storylines branching off of that. Like every day they be coming on, oh, I'm renting the car, and now I'm down, I'm negative 100. The gang stalkers made me negative in my bank account, and they're doing this on purpose. They're operating and watching my bank account, this, and that. Like I've done a testimonial where I give in my speculation, and the speculation was like grandiose. It went into like the deep end, and it was like conspiratorial sci-fi shit. You know, and like again, I always say it's my opinion, and like I'll speculate and things like that. But the psyop perp will never do that. The psyop perp will never do that. They're running a psyop. I can't name what the fucking psyop is. Like I'm not gonna say you're like, oh, I know exactly what psyop they're running, but generally these people are ex-military, ex-law enforcement. They're trained. They're brief. They're not like your regular perp. These are basically cops pretending to be perps, my opinion. So hold on 1 second. I gotta do some shit real quick. I'm out and about driving. I'm gonna end this live stream a little bit because I don't feel like doing this shit when I hate going into a house and live streaming. So hold on a second. All right, I'm back.
Okay. But still, you will be fine. I'm letting you go.
Thank you. I'm doing. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh shit. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
It should work. Now I just transfer the money. It takes a second. Have a good one, bro. All right, I'm back. Hold on a second. I'm gonna address immaterial man. I'm not gonna be on here long, so I would have you on. Hold on a second, guys. Immaterial man, let me know if you try to have anyone come on live. I was trying to have you come on mine earlier. Anybody? I didn't even see that you had a live. Next time you have one, I'll try to hop on. I just don't have a lot of time today. I'm probably gonna wrap this up in like 10, 15 minutes. But no, I'm not at work. I'm just DoorDash. I grabbed some liquor real quick. My card got declined. You know, I had money on it, so that was embarrassing. But yeah, we're gonna go over like a couple few because I'm really just doing this off the cuff. There's not many perps that you gotta look out for, and many different types of perps. To go over my experience, like calling out perps is stupid it's like it was like a fad for a little bit, like calling agents out. Oh, he's an agent. Like I know I was doing that. I've been doing that shit since 2016, calling Alex Jones an agent and things like that. I know Young Steel, Food Vibe Nature was someone that popularized that term as well. But hold on, let me take a couple swigs, man. I've been drinking so long, it's crazy. I fucking used to drink so much and do like the stupidest fucking broadcast, but woo! I'll put your hair in some of your chest. So back to the PSYOP perps, right? These people, like, they're definitely ex-military. And I'm not blaming military people for gang stalking, okay? Even though my gang stalking started with the army. The people that these people are like contractors that they finish their military service and they become contractors. These people have clean haircuts. They'll never really look dirty. They don't do any drugs. They don't smoke weed. They hardly ever drink. And they kind of portray crazy. Like you can tell when someone's pretending to be crazy to put out a message, right? So again, these PSYOP perps, they gather intelligence. These are like real professionals. The first two categories aren't professionals at all. The first two categories are people that get in trouble with the police. Like going back to the spirituality thing, what I noticed is, because I noticed this with alien abduction awareness and several other people, these people would never touch a tarot card. Never. Like they'll never be into that shit. They'll get locked up, they'll go to jail. And I'm not gonna act like I know what happens, but female jail is like men's jail. Like people's bitches in there and things like that. It's more easier for a female because she's so emotional. Let's say it's her first time in jail to get some like dyke girlfriend and shit. So I think these girls be in jail braiding their hair, reading each other tarot cards. Now with alien abduction awareness, she got arrested and then she got a counselor. She even said it in her videos that whoever her counselor or psychiatrist was like, oh, the tarot cards are good for your mental health. Like, I forget what her reasoning was. So tarot cards, I'm not gonna act like I know everything. I'm just, from my experience, this is what I'm talking about, speculating, right? Tarot cards are given to people that are like in programs that like getting out of jail, or it's something that's taught to them and they bring onto YouTube where they can make money, right? So they can start making money like in a legal way. So let's say you have a prostitute woman that's in a program. She's a prostitute, she's a sex worker, she's working with counselors, she got arrested. Instead of doing the sex work, the counselor will suggest tarot cards. Oh, this is like sex work, except it's better for you. You can charge people money for their readings. You're making probably more money than sex work for certain cases. Oh, and they like learn how to lie and do fake readings. So the first two groups are like groups. I'm not trying to act like I know. I'm just saying, like, from what I know in this world, the first two groups, which was the fake spirituality, demonology people, or like it can be aliens too, like a Richard Bruce, like it can be, but it's mostly demons. Like it's mostly demons because I don't know, demons are like popular. For some reason, people don't believe in fucking aliens, even though the government said they're real. Even I have a cognitive dissonance for aliens. Like it just blows my mind that, there's fucking other beings. Like if I looked at it, I would probably freeze or something. So it's more with demons. Demons is like popular, like demonology and spirituality is becoming more popular with like black young people and stuff. Like, so that's something that's learned, right? The next thing is we did psyops, we did spirituality, we did hackers. We did the abrasive bad guy perp, which is like a nerve gorilla. And there's other people too. Chief Handler's another one. And the reason these people are so abrasive because the gang stalking program wants you to know that the program exists because you become more sensitized to the harassment, i.e., like there's like let's say you're being gang stalked, but no one ever says we're gang stalking you, we're the gang stalkers. There's always a day you can wake up and be like, hey man, maybe I'm confused about this shit. Maybe it's just bad luck. So the program will like make sure you know it's a program. Like that's the whole point of it. The last type of perp, like one of the last, is the gang stalking salesman. These people want to sell you that everything's gang stalking. Now, that's part of psyop perping because it helps you look crazier. Like gang stalking in the past, my fucking nose is like, I sounded really nasally right there. But gang stalking in the past was prolific, okay? This is just from my research. Like everywhere you go, you'll get followed. Like that kind of happened to me. You get the synchronizations, that stuff like Immaterial Man was talking about the last live stream. That happened to me a couple times. Like I think people get different tactics, but that was a big tactic. That was the whole gang stalking program. It's like you go to Walmart and everyone's fucking like a million people will show up there, right? Or you go to a park and a million people will show up. Looking back at it, it's confusion. Okay, some of it is confusion, right? That's just natural. That's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that it's all fake. Like, I do believe at one point, a bunch of people were told to mob somewhere. Now, some of it could be, oh, we know the target. We got a picture of them on our phone. But overall, I think it's just some type of app where people could mob you. Like, when you look at the technological advances on cell phones, like the apps, gang stalking started when like these apps came out, like GPS tracking apps, like all that stuff was probably like 2013, 14, 15, 16. That's when that stuff became like mainstream public, like where someone could develop an app on the app store where it'd be like, oh, track this guy or show up here to get paid. That's when that stuff came about. Between that stuff didn't exist in 2012. Like there was no apps to like do crazy shit. That stuff started happening like 13, 14, 15. So I believe it's an app where you get paid. Like it's like DoorDash, where you show up somewhere, you get instructions to show up somewhere and wear a red shirt. You don't know who the target is, and you get paid. Like that's my opinion. Some of it could be, the vitriol. Like I know from experience that something in the community is going on. Like it's not a big, huge deal, but it has to do with hidden cameras, people in your community, and that type of level of targeting. Now that does die down. Gosh, why do I sound like this shit, dude? I can't stand the way my voice sounds right now. It's like my nose is stuff. I sound like fucking nerdy right now. So that stuff, I mean, there's people claiming that stuff happens, but like, dude, like even out of the people posting, you don't hear about people doing the mobbing anymore. Like you don't see anyone even filming it that's even mentally ill or crazy. It's just not happening anymore, dude. I think they moved into vehicles after a while, like, and then I feel like that's stopping too. That's what I believe, right? I was about to go into another type of perp, and it's the gang stalking salesman. Again, they want you to believe everything is gang stalking. Red cars, one headlights, red shirts, eye patches, brown shoes, purple pants. Like, dude, they just look for any excuse. Like, yeah, in the beginning, I did that. Everyone does that. There's a natural psychological kind of like trajectory that targets go through. Like in the beginning, you're gonna seem the most crazy. Like that's just what it is. You listen to a lot of misinformation. I need to get out of here, dude. I'm in a parking lot where I'm like not comfortable right now. My nose is stuffed. I'm not worried about people hearing me talk, but people are pulling in and out of here, and I'm not accusing them of gang stalking. They're not gang stalking me. Not doing anything to fucking offend me in any way. But since my windows are up so I can talk, like my nose is getting stuffed up. I'm in like a smaller car. So I need to just go to a different parking lot so I feel comfortable so I can make the best content. You know, again, people would confuse that for gang stalking. Like, oh, you're uncomfortable because everyone's gang stalking you. See, that's like the gang stalking salesman, man. It's like they try to sell you everything's gang stalking. Now, a person that doesn't do that to even a fault, like he does not do that, is gang stalking Dr. De facto. And again, I'll bring up people, I'm not bringing them up as perps, I'm bringing up as an example. He'll say like a lot of things aren't gang stalking that are like one headlights because he doesn't want his audience to be oversold. So he's not a salesman whatsoever. He's doing good. And I'm doing that too. Like I could say things that are gang stalking that are, you know, tactics that could confuse someone else. It can easily confuse someone else, so I don't bring it up. Like I still get the one headlight, but I can't accurately predict who's a perp and who's not, so I'm not going to promote that. Like I'm still getting that to this day. And for me, I'm talking about my experience. If I start talking about one headlights, oh, that's part of like Targeted Tony did, and I start filming it, it increases. But if I stop doing that, it decreases. It's literally based on you filming it. Like they want you to film the drone and they want you to film the one headlights. So the gang stalking salesmen, this is what they're here. They're here to make more people think they're TIs that aren't, to discredit the whole fucking thing. Because there is a such thing as a TI collecting evidence, bro. That's convincing. It's not common, but it happens. Like it does actually happen. I just went to a park to park my car, and there's fucking two people in the dark just talking to each other. So again, that's not gang stalking. That can be easily, that's what the salesman would say. Oh, look, I pulled to the park to get away from people. There's more people. That's gang stalking. So what did I do? I go to the other parking lot where there's no people at so I can speak loudly. I'm just not being weird, but if you're talking about gang stalking in public and people are listening, like you do look weird. You don't look crazy. You look like a fucking weirdo. Like people eavesdrop, dude. Like that's the thing that people do, man. So yeah, the gang stalking salesman, they oversell it. There's a difference between being confused, like every target is, and like over accusing people of stuff, and being a salesman, like you're trying to sell people on it. Like you get they don't get paid, but it seems like they get paid if they're like affiliates for the program. And again, it's just fucking dangerous, dude, because I don't like it. It's worse than perping if you're doing this by accident. I don't like that shit because it just makes us look fake. Once you can disprove a couple things, well, those one headlights, I talked to that one headlight guy and he doesn't know what you're talking about. Like, if you can do that enough times and the TI's like, no, he's part of it, that just pays into it. So I said pays into it. Plays into it. Golly, I can't talk right now. You know what's fucking weird? Asa Coward, and I don't think you're a gang stalker, but I could easily accuse you of one. Because I'm in a new area right now. Okay? I'm in my hometown in Pennsylvania. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But this tactic, I get it at a specific dollar store. Like, I broke up with this honeypot, like I believe she was a honeypot in the beginning of my targeting. And her name was Zelda. It's a fake name. That's not her name. I don't want to put her name out because people know who I am and they'll skip trace who she is. And they won't do that, but it's a possibility. So I break up with her. I told you about the Zelda truck that pulled up the day we broke up, this big dramatic breakup, crazy shit. We both work at the same place. The Zelda truck pulls up. Then I go to the dollar store, and it's a specific dollar store. They do directed conversation every fucking time. I don't get directed conversation. I don't even get that tactic except for that dollar store. It's fucking weird. Not all just that specific dollar store in my hometown. This white lady, I go into the dollar store. This white lady goes in with her daughter. She looks around. She goes to the entrance, looks left, looks right, like she's looking at the fucking ceiling. And she's like, "Okay, Zelda, let's go." The same name as my ex-girlfriend, and then walks out. Like complete street theater directed conversation. I go there the other day. They did a directed conversation that like could have been something else, but you can categorize it as directed conversation. I go there again today, and this bald dude comes in. Oh, it's a perp, dude. It's an ex-military guy. He's screaming at me. "I've been saved by Jesus. I've been saved by Jesus. I was going to hell and Jesus saved me." And he's trying to like fucking force Jesus down my throat. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm a Christian. Like, yeah, I believe in Jesus." Like, "Do you believe in Jesus?" I'm like, "Yeah." The whole point was to identify me and talk to me. He was a perp, dude. He's like, "Yeah, I was going straight to hell, man. And then I found Jesus." Like, it's like, really? Yeah, really, dude? You just found Jesus at age 50, bro, and like you're screaming it in a store? And like this guy was a fucking like he was ex-military, dude. Dressed nicely, big beard, bald-headed, uh perfect skin for his age. Like he just a guy that took care of himself. It wasn't some fucking drug addict. Like, dude, this guy comes from money. Like he's ex-military, dude. Like you can just tell. He's in good shape and everything. So he does this big street theater about Jesus and all that. And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, well, whatever. Like, yeah, baptism, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want to hear this. Like, I'm already a Christian, bro. Like, I don't, you don't need to profess the word to me, bro." Like, I'm telling him this shit. I'm not being a dick. I'm just like, I'm talking a way where it's like, "Bro, I don't want to talk to you. You just walked up and started screaming about me at Jesus. I don't want to, like, I'm trying to shop. Like, please leave me alone," type of vibe. But I'm being polite. And as soon as I walk away, like I had to force myself out. He wouldn't let me leave me alone, dude. He wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. So I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, blah, blah, blah." Like, leave, walk away. As soon as he walks away, he gets on his phone and starts texting someone. Like, I want to assume a handler, right? I'm not gonna like. I don't like making assumptions, but it's like you just had that bit, and then now you have to like. As soon as you talk to me, you have to text and get on the phone with your index finger poking at your iPhone. I'm not making assumptions, dude, but you go through this and you just realize something is fake, right? You just like that was just completely not normal. You found Jesus, okay, bro. Why are you screaming at me and like forcing me into a conversation about it? Like, what? That's not normal, even for like someone who found like you just found Jesus, bro. Like he made it seem he just found Jesus before he walked in the store. Like, "I just found him." Like, what? Like, yeah, I was going to hell. He's like, "I seen hell. I seen it. I seen it." He's acting crazy. This dude, if you looked at him, is a normal fucking white, maybe Hispanic guy, ex-military guy, good shape. Like, I'm not saying good looking as in like I'm judging a man, but I'm saying like he's well dressed, well groomed man, like not a crazy person. You know what I'm saying? So it was fake. So yeah, like that's like even I'm not overselling that. Now, if I was an overselling gang stalking salesman, I'll come on and just oversell that situation. But I'm about to end this soon. My phone's dying. Again, I'm not having anyone on because I can't. My phone's gonna die and I don't want to cut people off. I like to have people. If I'm gonna have people on, it's gonna be for 2-3 hours. I feel like those are the best live streams. Let me get my fucking little drink on. Little Jim Beam bourbon. I like drinking just like a couple shots, dude. I don't even like getting drunk anymore. It's just fucking gay. I don't even really like drinking shots anymore. So the gang stalking salesman, He's just a total cocksucker. I mean, I'm sorry. He's probably my least favorite perp. This is why the gang stalking salesman is my least favorite perp, because you try to convince them something's not gang stalking, and they fucking just like, they don't care, dude. Like, they make it look so fake. And some of these people are normal people that are just confused. Like, I'm not too mad at them, but yeah, the perps, they're my least favorite. The gang stalking salesman perps. So we're gonna do one last one, and it's the Kumbaya Pity Pat Patty Cake perp. I cannot stand the Kumbaya Patty Cake perp. Okay, I cannot stand them whatsoever. So perps are a dime a dozen. They're pretty much all the same. They have the same fucking outlook. But the Pity Pat Patty Cake perp is the worst. It's one of the worst. These people will never call out a perp. Okay, not that that's important, but let's say there's a person in the community that's been hacking people or something. Like, yeah, we got to call that out, man. We got to protect other targets. Like, he's hacking, he's sending links. People's phones are dying when they click the link. They're getting an APK file installed that has malware, malicious software that can view your phone, mirror your phone. We got to call people like that out, man. Anyone, this is what the patty cake perp. No, we all must come together. The reason why that doesn't work, yeah, all TIs must come together. Like, that makes sense. But if someone's not a TI, they can only be one thing, and that's a perp. If someone is not a targeted individual, and they're joining a targeted individual group, are they doing that by mistake? Is that an accident? Do you think they're confused? Like, oh, I saw a red car and I'm going to join this TI group because I saw one red car and I saw the conspiracy. No, that doesn't fucking happen. These patty cake perps, they're always talking about coming together, which is what a perp would do. Because if you have everyone come together, that's a database of a bunch of targets and you didn't have to do any work. If I start a group chat and I'm like, all these targets need to join this group chat, and 30 targets join the group chat that I never heard of, that was just really easy to database those 30 targets. Like, I just got a database right there. So why are we coming together? Why are we kumbayaing? Like, yeah, if you want to stop the program, that makes sense. But what's your plan? You don't have a plan. Your plan is just to get us all together. Why? Why? Is it to gather intelligence? Is it to gather the database? I mean, sometimes it's not, but for sometimes it is. If you're a real targeted individual, one TI is good enough to team up with. You don't need 10, 20 TIs. Anybody promoting kumbaya, patty cake, pity pat friendships on here, they have all the time in the world. Think about a targeted individual. For most of us, I'm not going to say all of us, for most of us, we're being financially sabotaged. You probably have to pick up 2 jobs. You probably have to work at least really hard at your one job. Like, you probably figure out pretty quickly you need extra money. Therefore, you have not a lot of time to be on the internet. You have enough time to maybe document your gang stalking because your gang stalking is that hard. Maybe email one person or 2 people. These kumbaya perps, they're like talking to 20, 30 different targets. Like, how do you even find these people? How do you have 10 targeted individual friends, 15 targeted individual friends? I can name a handful from all the channels I watch. I can name like maybe 5. King Manta, Immaterial Man, Targeted Patent, Absent-Minded Dave. I'm not saying these people are real. I'm just naming who seem like targets. Gang Stalking, Dr. De Facto. That's about it. You know, those are serious people that can have a conversation. You know, whether they're real or fake, they have a story, they have a testimony, conversation with you. They're willing to talk about 24 hours a day. In my book, that makes them somewhat real. But, you know, other TIs have different standards on here. So the patty cake perp, and for people like Andros and other targeted patent, This stuff is what makes gang stalking real. It's all of the fakes that make it real. Why is there so many fake targeted individuals? Okay? Take away mental illness. Oh, they're all mentally ill. No, not all of them are mentally ill, dude. They know how to hack. They're hacking TIs. I could go into any community on YouTube and make friends, email that person. Let's say I'm in a cold cases community or police auditor community. None of those people are gonna fucking hack you. Maybe one weird one that's a hacker or something that was just fucking weird and wants to hack people. You go into targeted individual, it's full of crazy people, and these crazy people will hack you. Mentally ill people, people reading tarot cards, they will hack you. So why are these people for years and years and years playing patty cake with other TIs, but they have no plan? Like me, if I'm meeting up with TIs and if I'm emailing and phone calling and texting TIs, I'm gonna have a plan. It might not be a good plan, but it's gonna be a plan. Like, yeah, let's protest, bro. Let's go to the White House, bro. Let's hold up signs, bro. That shit doesn't fucking happen, dude. They kumbaya to put a database together of a bunch of TIs because it's hard to find targeted individuals. There's, besides YouTube and maybe Quora and Reddit, where else are you going to find targeted individuals? You're not going to find them anywhere. You can check BitChute, you can check here, there. You're not going to find them. The only place where you can find mass groups of targeted individuals is YouTube. So some of these people are like working with intelligence agencies. They think targeted individuals are the next mass shooters. So they want to gather intelligence on the group. And if you don't serve their purpose, if you're not a mass shooting piece of shit, fucking serial killer psychopath, they don't give a fuck about you. They discard your information. But there's so many fucking targeted individuals that act so cryptic. It goes beyond mental illness. There's a level of intelligence and conniving behind what they're doing. But their content shows that they're a fucking crazy person that fucking can't even tie their shoes together. But they can download an APK file to your phone if you click their link. Doesn't really make sense to me. So that's the last targeted individual. I think my phone's about to die here. Is the patty cake. They'll never call out. They'll go out their way. Like, there'll be a person in the community that's like 10 people accused of hacking. They have even admitted to being like perps, and that person will never, well, I don't like calling people perps. I don't like calling people perps, but it's like, we're calling them a perp for a reason, dude. So anybody, that's the most suspicious person. You're already being targeted. You're already suspicious of all your neighbors. Oh, your neighbors are suspicious, but everyone online is safe. We should all click each other's links and download each other's malware. No, I'm not buying that shit, dude. Not happening. Better safe than sorry is the motto of the targeted individual community. There's no one you're going to meet here that's going to fucking even call you a real targeted individual or gang stalking victim. So there's no point of clicking links. I'm not trying to sound hypocritical because a StreamYard link is different. We're all talking on the stream. I'm talking about like a link emailed to you. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the level of perpology that I'm going to be, level of knowledge base that I'm giving out today on the perpology. These people are fucking perps. They're out there. They're not as much as people want to think. Like, that's going into the gang stalking salesman. There's not a lot of them, but they're out there. You can't say there's no perps on YouTube, dude. Like, you just can't say that. But to say that people like pouring their hearts out on here, you know, you might not think their gang stalking story is true, but they're not perps. They're not working for a government agency behind the scenes. But yeah, I'm wrapping this shit up. My phone's dying. Thank you for tuning in. Matrix Decoded out.